Fuck everything. Fuck every one of my bets. Fuck the Celtics. Fuck my entire home. Fuck my HVAC system. Fuck my life. This is better off dead. I am better off dead. Don't even know how I'm alive right now. I shouldn't be. I've never been closer to killing myself than I am right now. Probably should have done it last night. I don't know what else you want me to say about this. 1-4 yesterday. 2 of the baseball plays would have won if I played them first 5 innings. Pittsburgh Pirates and New York Yankees both would have done that. Of course, their bullpens just blow the game, so that's awesome. Florida Panthers lose. Cincinnati, Atlanta, Smith-Shawver takes like a no-hitter into the fucking 8th inning. Yeah, real good. So that game had no chance of going over. Got the under right in the White Sox, Kansas City, because those teams are ass and they can't hit at all. So that one, yay me, I guess. 1 win. Fuck the month of May. May sucks. Everything sucks. If your birthday is in May, you suck. Fuck you. Fuck everything. I don't know what else to do. We're talking about today. I'm trying to limit myself. We're going with 3 plays today. First plays in this first NBA game. Lay the points with the Cleveland Cavs. -9. This is ridiculous. The Cavs are down 0-1. They lost the first game at home. You know they can't afford to lose this game too. This is a zigzag spot. They're going to show up. They're going to win this game. They're going to win probably by 20 points here. I mean, we're talking about a Cavs team that had the biggest margin of victory in a series ever, I believe, against the Heat. Coming into game 1, I thought maybe they were being a little bit overvalued for that reason. Thought the Pacers might be able to compete. That did happen, but look what happened in game 1. I mean, you got to be kidding me with this. I'll bring up the box score. Let's take a look at this. Even though, yeah, Indiana turned it over a ton, which they usually do because they just play frenetically fast, and Cleveland probably should have taken advantage of that. But look at the percentage discrepancies here. Field goal percentage, Indiana 53%, three-point percentage 52.8%, Cleveland 23.7%. Are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure Indiana had 30 more points from beyond the arc than Cleveland did. That's never going to happen again in these guys' entire lives. It's not going to happen again. Cleveland had the huge advantage on the inside. They had like plus 22 points from 2-point range. I believe they got outscored from the free throw line as well. 2-point scoring is the most predictable metric here. Cleveland obviously cannot afford to go down 0-2 and go on the road. They're going to come out. They're the better team. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. They have the way better defense. They're going to come out and they're going to destroy the Pacers here. Darius Garland has been out with a toe injury. I don't know why analysts, by the way, sometimes when they talk about an injury, they go, oh, this guy is out with a toe. I'm like, the fact that he has a toe is keeping them out. Say it's an injury. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This guy has a body part, and that's why he's out. Yeah, okay. No, Garland, whatever. He was in street clothes last game. He's missed 3 games in a row. I don't even give a shit. With or without him, the Cavs are going to win this game by margin here. Easy. This is free money. I don't fucking care anymore. I never should say anything is free money, but it is. Cleveland -9. That's a play. Warriors, T-Wolves, probably lean to the T-Wolves here. They're up from 4 to 7, though, so you're definitely paying a price for the T-Wolves. I think the T-Wolves are about to take the next step, man, basically, although I think even though the next step for them might be still losing in the conference finals, which is where they were last year, but that does mean they have experience, even though the Warriors have more experience and pedigree. The T-Wolves, young and up and coming, and they made the conference finals last year, so they are battle-tested. People seem to already forget that they just beat the Lakers, which I think surprised a lot of people at the time. T-Wolves probably are the better team, actually, on both sides of the ball over the Warriors. Better on defense and offense. Warriors are an aging team, so I think that age is going to catch up to them at some point this year, man. This is the first time, I believe, with Steve Kerr's Warriors teams that they've been this big of an underdog in a series, as the T-Wolves were like -190 to win the series. They're actually down to about -170. So money actually came in on the Warriors. I think the Warriors are actually a public team, man, which is why the T-Wolves are seemingly not getting more credit for beating the Lakers, because you think the T-Wolves will get more credit for beating the Lakers and doing it in 5 games than the Warriors would for having to go 7 against the Rockets. But the public was on the Warriors coming into the playoffs, and it seems like they still are. And I think their general consensus is maybe that this line is too big And if that's the case, and you think the public is going to perceive value on the road team, I would tend to go the opposite way. I would probably lean to laying the points with Minnesota here. The one problem would be you're looking at a T-Wolves team that's been off, I think, for way too long. And we've seen this happen again. I told you last night Nuggets to cover in the first quarter. I liked that. I probably should have played it. It was a plus 3.5. They were down 1 at the end of that quarter. And then the Thunder completely took off in the game, and somehow the Nuggets made an unbelievable comeback to finish that game. And so did the Knicks. At the game that I was at, I was about to jump in front of a fucking train. I'm not even going to talk about it. You blow a 20-point lead as the Celtics. I don't even care if Porzingis was sick and he didn't play after the first quarter. You do not blow a 20-point lead. Celtics missed 46 three-pointers in that game. So, yeah, you know I'm probably going to be playing the Celtics and the Thunder tomorrow, okay? Just get ready for it. You can play them now if you want. I don't give a shit. They're both going to win the next game for the same reason as the Cavs. Those are all zigzags. Back to Warriors T-Wolves, though. The Warriors, I do think, because they're so old and they're now playing a third game in a third different city in 5 days, I think that is not actually that helpful to them. Even though, again, like you saw with the Nuggets, though, the Nuggets kind of did that, and they're kind of an aging team as well to some extent, and they were able to make a huge comeback late in the game and did not get tired. A shocking comeback for them. That was, crazy. So the Warriors are up against that, but I'm not so sure that I would totally count them out, especially against a number like this, where I said I didn't like counting out the Nuggets completely in that one, because I actually think that when a team has been off for too long, like the T-Wolves, they can be a little bit tired coming into a little bit rusty, coming into the next game. So you have to gauge that like rust versus the fatigue, the tiredness on the other side. Tough to gauge. Staying away from it. It looks like more of the tickets than the cash coming in the over in this one. Possibly the under makes sense because both teams actually are pretty good on the defensive side of the ball, but with a tired, aging Warriors team, I don't know that they're going to have the defensive intensity the whole time there. So, going to stay away from all that. And by the way, for the Cavs, if you don't want to lay the points of the Cavs, you could look to go with like their team total over or whatever. Like that's probably a fine way to look, as Indiana doesn't play any defense. And if you expect that Cleveland is going to win the game, they're probably going to go over it. Hockey, I'm not going to play either of these games. Now, Carolina, Washington, you know me. You saw my bracket special. Carolina's the better team. I mean, the odds makers are telling you they're the better team. However, it looks like the money's coming in on Washington in game one here, and I'm not quite sure why. I mean, both teams kind of had a similar first-round series. They both took care of an inferior team in the first round. So there's not really a whole lot to gauge from that. Carolina up from -120 to -121 on the road. So even though Washington had the best record in the East, the odds makers are telling you Carolina is actually the better team. I do think Carolina will win the series. Series price is probably more expensive than what this number is, though. Of course, because this is what Carolina is on the road here. Washington actually the home team in the series, but I do think Carolina will win the series. What you could do maybe is if Washington does win game one, you could look to Carolina to still win the series. Carolina, by the way, is actually a really good road team. Actually, I think both of these teams actually did really well on the road this year. So that's another reason why I don't want to fade Carolina here, but they do have 58% of tickets coming in on them. 66% of cash coming in on Washington. I don't really understand those numbers because, as you saw with the bracket special, to me, I would expect Washington to be a public team, and I don't think that the first round series that these two teams play would affect the perception of these teams very much. So I don't really know why the public seems like they're actually on the Carolina side now, and the actual money coming in on Washington, I don't really agree with it. I think Carolina's the better team, should win the series, but I'll stay away. Edmonton and Vegas. Vegas up for -130, -133. I think Vegas is probably the strongest lean out of any of these. Not going to probably get there with an actual play on it, but 58% of tickets, 67% of the cash coming in on Vegas. I think Edmonton just remains a public team because their offense is good. People saw them win 4 straight games and overcome an 0-2 deficit. People don't even remember the 0-2 deficit anymore. Edmonton won, but that was a very home-centric series against the Kings, even though Edmonton did win one game on the road in that series. They're not as good of a road team, though, and they're going to Vegas here. Vegas is the better team. As the odds makers are telling you, they have a little bit more than home ice advantage here. Vegas, even though Nba Nhl Playoffs did really bad in that previous series, he is the better goalie here. Edmonton does have goaltending issues. Vegas's offense can score enough to match Edmonton. Like, they are pretty talented. So Vegas really is the more balanced of these two teams. They're better defensively, and their offense is not that much worse. Do lean to Vegas here, and I think people are going to give Edmonton more credit for beating the Kings, a Kings team that had a pretty good record this year. Was Vegas beating Minnesota, even though I talked about how Minnesota's overrated. People think Minnesota's better than they actually are, but what that series did is it made Vegas actually look worse than they actually are, because they should have won that series more easily, man. They had a few games in that series where they really dominated the series. They had a few games where they outplayed Minnesota and still didn't win the game, as you saw. I got frustrated with that. Lost a few plays there. My plays have been awful in the playoffs recently, man. As NBA, I've gone from 10-1 to 10-4. Hockey, I've gone from, I think, 9-2 to 9-3 now. But lean to Vegas, not playing, and that'll do it for that. Baseball, before we get out of here. I don't know how I even want to do this. Do I still want to talk about every game? I don't know. Cleveland and Washington got rained out yesterday, so they're playing a doubleheader. Luis Ortiz is still scheduled to pitch the first game, as he was scheduled to pitch yesterday. And as I pointed out yesterday, his numbers against Washington are not good. And I don't expect that it's not going to be Jake Irvin again here. It says undecided, but since Irvin is not scheduled to pitch in the later game in the doubleheader there, why would it not be Irvin here? Like, I don't understand why it's undecided unless Irvin has an injury issue or an illness or something. I don't really know what's going on with that. So all you can do is look at Luis Ortiz here. And he, again, doesn't have good numbers against Washington. 300 batting average allowed, 910 OPS. I do expect that it is Irvin. I think he does have the better numbers against Cleveland. If you do want to play Washington because of the pitching matchup, would do it first 5 innings. Hey, me saying first 5 innings for once, and just exclude the bullpens, because Washington's bullpen is horrendous. Dodgers at Miami. This same pitching matchup, I think, just happened with Gonsolin and Quantrill. So both offenses are familiar with these opposing pitchers now, but obviously Quantrill is the way worse pitcher. He got lit up again by the Dodgers. His career numbers are terrible against the Dodgers. You cannot possibly lay this price with the Dodgers on the road, though. They're a huge road favorite here. I don't mind the over in this one, because I do think you'll see some scoring with both of these pitchers just having been seen by the opposing offenses. But Gonsolin's numbers aren't really that bad against Miami, so I don't know if he's really going to get lit up enough, or not lit up. But I don't know if Miami's going to do their part enough offensively to get this thing over. Although Quantrill could get shelled in this game. Dodgers bullpen also always a concern, trying to fade them to go over, because their bullpen is actually good. I don't know how much did their bullpen get used yesterday, because I know they had kind of an opener starting yesterday. He went 4 innings yesterday, so the Dodgers did use a ton of their bullpen. So, yeah, I don't think you can play the Dodgers. Their bullpen is definitely the less rested bullpen here. I don't think you can play them on the money line at all, obviously. They're way too big a favorite. Because Quantrill does so bad against them, Dodgers over the team total may make sense, but I think you're probably going to have to go over about 5 on that, which is quite high. It's high for a reason, though. So, but again, one of those reasons, well, it's high because they're expected to do that amount of damage to this bad pitcher, but it's also high because it's the Dodgers. You're always paying a tax for the Dodgers. Gets a little bit dicey there. Texas is at Boston. Neither of these teams played yesterday, I don't believe. Nathan Eovaldi makes his return to Boston. I believe he does pitch pretty well in Boston, although the Red Sox actually do know how to hit him, as he's been away from Boston for a while now. Boston understands his tendencies. Against Boston in 86 at-bats, he's given up a 271 average, 876 OPS. So the OPS is a little bit high. Giolito is pitching for the Red Sox. He just joined the rotation and probably is going to help, because the Red Sox rotation, it can't get any worse. So I think he's going to improve the rotation, because the rotation sucks dick. Giolito against Texas has held him a 231 average and a slightly high 701 OPS. So maybe a slight lean to the Red Sox there. Both bullpens rested. Texas' offense really can't hit, man. Both bullpens I don't know. Boston's bullpen has been really, really bad over the past week, so they're really going to have to get together. I don't think they're as bad as they looked over the past week. They're certainly not good, but they're middle of the road. Texas's offense has been very, very weak. They are up from -105 to -116, so the odds makers are lining Texas as a road favorite, but I think maybe there is a little bit of value grabbing Boston as the home underdog, because as you saw over the last week or so, the Red Sox had multiple bullpen implosions. So they may, the Red Sox definitely have mental issues, man. They're all mentally ill, obviously. They can't field because of it. They don't do the little things right. They do them all wrong. It's just really, really bad. But probably the Red Sox, there is a little bit of value on them because they probably should have won some of those games that they lost. 81% of tickets, 92% of the cash coming in on Boston. And I do think they have the edge slightly in the starting pitching matchup, so probably would lean that way. Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, you're looking at this and thinking this is a matchup of two really good pitchers, and Zach Wheeler and Drew Rasmussen, which is true, but they actually both have bad numbers against the opposing lineup, so this might actually be a situation where you might actually be able to find a little bit of value in going over the total in this one, as Zach Wheeler, surprisingly, not great against Tampa in 43 at-bats, 279 average, but a 922 OPS, which is quite high. Rasmussen, facing a good Phillies hitting lineup, hasn't been good against the Phillies. Let me see. Where is that? Let me bring it up. Where do we have it? There it is. He's allowed a 296 average, 752 OPS, and 27 at-bats, so not great. So you may be able to find value in actually taking this over, although Rasmussen has been way better at home this year than on the road, although Wheeler, I believe, has been way worse on the road than at home, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. He's been significantly worse on the road. 4.63 ERA compared to a 2.18 at home, and the opponent batting averages reflect that as well. So, although one of the pitchers is better at home, still, I think maybe over is worth a look in that game. Not a play for me. Where is that game? Where am I looking? Interleague. There it is. It's up from 7.5 juice to the over to 8 juice to the under. So maybe a slight move upward on the total there. Not really much to read in the market yet. Michael King is going to return to New York to face his former team, now pitching with San Diego. King, really good numbers with San Diego, man. Really, really high strikeout rate and not a lot of hits. He has been a little bit wild, but for the most part, he is definitely a pretty trustworthy pitcher. Against the Yankees, they only have two guys who've ever seen him before, though. But Goldschmidt is 2 for 3 off him. But other than that, Bellinger's 0 for 1. So there's not really a whole lot you can take away from that. So the Yankees really haven't faced him. So I think maybe King has a little bit of an advantage because the Yankees haven't faced him. Clark Schmidt against San Diego has actually done well as well, holding him to a 190 average of 451 OPS and 21 at-bats, even though I don't think he's very good. His 5.52 ERA and 1.43 whip on the season. That's all pretty bad. But still, I think I would lean into an under in this game. You got 85% of tickets going over because the public wants to go over on the Yankees, but I don't believe the game went over last night in that game where the Yankees blew a 3-0 lead, even though their bullpen's not even bad. So fuck me, I guess, with another loss there. Pittsburgh's bullpen blew the other game for me when they were winning the game, I think 2-0 or something through 5. So isn't that just great? But I would lean in the under. It looks like the number's just kind of sitting at 8 juice to the over. You might be able to go under 8.5 in this one. 85% of tickets on the over. Public, again, always comes in on overs, especially Padres, Yankees with two good hitting lineups in the Bronx. That's the only way the public is going to go. 72% of the cash, though, so less of the cash. So lean under in that game. Cincinnati, Atlanta. Andrew Abbott against Chris Sale. Andrew Abbott has been pretty good this year. 1.26 whip, a little high, but 2.84 ERA, pretty good. Braves lineup, only Verdugo has ever seen him before, and he's 1 for 3 off him. So Abbott might have the upper hand here because, as I keep saying, as I was kind of alluding to with Michael King, when you have a good pitcher and opposing hitters have never actually seen that pitcher before, it's a little bit of a disadvantage to those hitters first couple of times because they have to figure out how to hit that guy. Chris Sale obviously is not going to be an unknown, but he's starting to pitch well after a very rough start to the season. 4.84 ERA, 1.42 whip, all looks terrible, but he has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of his last 3 starts. He's gone at least 5 innings in the last 2. Seems to be returning to form with 10 strikeouts, no walks, 5 hits in a 7-inning performance last time out at Coors Field. So even though Colorado's offense sucks, doing that in a bad pitcher environment in that stadium is not something to scoff at. And against the Reds, 25 at-bats, we're at 240 average, 736 OPS. So Chris Sale is probably going to continue to sail, man. He's going to continue to sail away. I don't think he's for sale yet. I think he's going to continue to pitch pretty well. I mean, I don't think you go from Cy Young to absolutely being terrible. I think he's certainly going to land somewhere in the middle, and I think he's going to land somewhere in the good territory when all is said and done, if he can stay healthy. That is the big question mark with him. Lean probably under in this game, and that is kind of the way the money is coming. He's flipping it from 8 juice to the over to 8 juice to the under. 69% of tickets, 85% of the cash coming in on the under in this one. The problem is Andrew Abbott. I mean, looking at his splits, he's definitely been worse on the road, but it's only one start, I think, in each environment, maybe, because he hasn't pitched that many games. Or no, excuse me, it's 2 starts each, excuse me. But he has been worse on the road. 4.5 ERA. Not a whole lot to take away from that small sample size, though. And I think he'll enjoy pitching away from Great American Ballpark, which is a hitter-friendly ballpark. So lean under in that game. Don't have a play on it, though. Cleveland and Washington, game 2 is Ben Lively against Brad Lord. I mean, this doesn't look like a great pitching matchup. Ben Lively, he's been okay, but I never really trust this guy. 1.27 whip isn't that great. Indicates his 3.72 ERA should probably be a little bit worse than it is. I mean, he gets the job done. He limits the damage. He's been alternating shutouts and 4 runs. Look at that. This is bizarre. He's gone 4-0, 4-0, 4-0 and earned runs. So that means he's going to give up 4 runs this time, man. If the pattern continues, we're noticing patterns here, man. Lively hasn't been that great against Washington. 269 average, 806 OPS in 26 at-bats. So this might be another 4-run outing for Ben Lively. And Brad Lord, not a good pitcher either, in my opinion. 1.66 whip is abysmal this year, indicating that his 4.43 ERA should actually even be higher than it is. He's walking a lot. He's giving up a lot of hits. He's putting way too many men on base. He's not a very effective pitcher. I think he's just in there to fill a role. He did finally go 5 innings in a game. So I wouldn't say they're starting to let him pitch longer, though, really. I mean, they're kind of just giving him the hook when he gets to somewhere in the vicinity of about 70 pitches. So Washington probably going to be pulling Lord and going to their bullpen. And if they have to already have used their bullpen in game 1, their already horrible bullpen is going to have to get used again in game 2. So I think the way to look at this game is probably the over in game 2 there, even though you might see some hitters rest in that game. It's flipped from 9 juice to the under to 9 juice to the over. So that's probably the way I would look there. Baltimore, Minnesota, I got to play here. We're going under 8.5 full game here. Neither team played yesterday. I know Baltimore's on the bad side of bullpens, so you do have to worry about Baltimore's bullpen. I mean, you kind of have to worry about their starter too, but I think the under is going to be okay. I think at least the bullpens are resting here. Minnesota has a pretty good bullpen. Neither team has been good offensively, so that's kind of where this thing hinges. Kate Povich pitching. And by the way, 5.16 ERA is terrible. I understand that. 1.65 whip, terrible. He had another bad performance last time out, but it was against the Yankees. I know his walk to strikeout ratio looks pretty bad in the last 3 starts with more walks and strikeouts in 2 of the 3. I understand that, but against the Yankees, I think we can give him a little bit of a pass because they're a really good offense. Cincinnati, I know it wasn't at Cincinnati, but they can hit a little bit. He did show some signs in a couple of these games recently against some of the worst offenses, and I do think Baltimore is not a very good offense. But as far as Povich, he has actually been significantly better on the road. He's got a 7.94 home ERA this year. I know his opponent batting average is bad in both places, but a 1.42 ERA on the road. So actually, his 2 road starts have actually been those are the 2 good ones this month. The one at Kansas City and the one against Washington. He gave up 1 earned run in both of those and had a combined 9-1 strikeout walk ratio and went at least 6 innings in both of them. That was the only 2 times he did that this year. And I understand, again, 2 pretty bad offenses in Washington and Kansas City, but Povich has been better on the road. So I'm going to put a little bit of stock into him for that reason. Against Minnesota, they're 1 for 13 off him lifetime. So 077 average, 231 OPS. So Povich has actually done well against, although that was, of course, when Minnesota had never seen him before, but they're still pretty unfamiliar with him. So I'm okay with that. And on the other side, you got a good pitcher on the other side of Pablo Lopez. He had a little bit of a late start, I think, to the season. Or no, he was out for a while, actually, between the 8th and the 25th. I knew he was injured somewhere for a little while there. He's come back, and he's done well, going at least 5 innings of both starts, 2 earned runs in each of them, 12-2 strikeout walk ratio, 26-4 overall in the season. He's pitching well, 2.25 ERA, 1 whip. And up against Baltimore, he has done well in his career. 58 at-bats, 19-3 strikeout walk ratio, 190 batting average allowed, 609 OPS. So we'll put our stock in both starters. And because the bullpens are rested, I think we can go full game under in this one. And let me find the game here. Looking at the market read, we got it sitting at 8.5 juice to the under, a little bit less so juice to the under now, but 50% of tickets on the under. Public's not going to be looking to play this game at all, really, and especially not under, but 89% of the cash on the under. So we're going to go under in that one. Hopefully my selectivity is working out and these plays are actually good, because if they're not, then fuck me. Chicago, White Sox, and Kansas City got Burke against Lugo. I mean, I don't trust Sean Burke, man. I don't know what else to say about that. 4.91 ERA, 1.36 whip. He's been struggling a little bit, but he is making his this is his major league debut season, and the Royals haven't seen him before, so maybe he'll be able to do okay in this game against a pretty weak Kansas City lineup that hasn't seen him before, so maybe he'll do a little bit better in this game than he has in some of his games. Seth Lugo continues to pitch well, man, even though I was expecting a little bit of regression out of him. He's doing all right. I mean, more than all right. 1.05 whip, 3.07 ERA, and of course, he's facing a weak White Sox lineup here. In 46 at-bats, he's held him to a 6 hits, 10-1 strikeout walk ratio, 130 average, and 279 OPS. So Lugo has dominated these hitters. Of course, you can't lay minus 220 on Kansas City. If you wanted to look towards Kansas, I don't think I would even look towards Kansas City, like I said. I think Burke is like too much of a question mark, very difficult to handicap. Possible that Kansas City does not hit well off of him, and I'm not going to be laying like a run line, especially when you don't get the 9th inning to bat if you're already winning and you're the home team there. Kansas City doesn't score enough to overcome that run line in a lot of cases, so maybe the way to look at this is White Sox team total under, even though you're probably looking at going under 2.5, maybe 3 on them, but I think they'll probably be held down by Seth Lugo. And then my only other play today, first 5 inning under in Houston, Milwaukee. Houston's bullpen is good. Milwaukee's bullpen is not. Milwaukee used their bullpen yesterday, so this very bad Milwaukee bullpen that got used yesterday, I want no part of it. They could destroy this entire thing. So we're going to go first 5 innings here. We're only going to look at the starting pitching. Hayden Wesneski, I mean, definitely not a name, but 1 whip. I mean, he has a weird name, but he's not a household name. 1 whip, 3.86 ERA. He's pitching well this year. 26-4 strikeout walk ratio. There's nothing really bad about this at all. He's given up 3 and 2 earned runs in every single start. He's got at least 5 innings in every single start. He's been consistent, man, and we only need him to basically do that again here to get this thing under the 4.5. I know the Brewers can hit pretty well. That is their one, the one positive thing that they do. But in 20 at-bats, they haven't done particularly well against it with a 250 average, 675 OPS. So I think we're going to be all right there. And then Chad Patrick, on the other hand, is a guy that I've kind of been looking for spots to kind of play him a little bit, as he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any start either. This is his rookie season, although he has not gone at least 5 innings in most of his starts. But since April 6th, he has done it 3 times, or three times over the last 5 starts. So that is something, but he's still limiting the damage for the most part. He's coming off a start where he didn't do as well, and he gave up the most runs he's given up, 3 earned runs, but he did go 5 2/3 innings. He was very inefficient. He threw 102 pitches, so I'm a little bit worried that maybe he'll be tired after that, but he is a young guy. Hasn't pitched that much yet this season, so I'm not going to be that worried about it. And he didn't do that well in the game and kind of lost the game, so I don't think he's going to really regress from that. And up against Houston, of course, Houston has never seen him before. So Patrick, even though his 1.28 ERA, whip, is a little bit too high. 2.87 ERA is pretty good. 26-11 strikeout walk ratio is not really that bad. So I think he's a decent young pitcher, and the fact this Houston lineup has never seen him before. Houston has kind of a mediocre offense. I think Patrick might be able to keep them in check a little bit again because these young pitchers that have good stuff sometimes have a little bit of an advantage against the hitters that have never seen them before. So that's the other play. And looking at the market, I guess we can look at the market read here, wherever the interleague games are. This has dropped from 8.5 juice to the under to 8 juice to the over. It's just a slight move downward. Public on the over, 70% of tickets. I mean, you see Astros, Brewers, you do think offense. Public would have a tendency to take the over there, but only 63% of the cash. And we are not going full game on that one because Milwaukee's bullpen is a travesty. Giants at Chicago Cubs. Cubs, I believe, beat them pretty soundly. I think 9-2 yesterday. You're looking at Colin Ray here, who's continuing to pitch well. Basically, I don't know, maybe Japan changed him. He came back and he's been pitching well. Not really a strikeout guy, but his command has been really good. He hasn't really walked anybody this year, but I still think he can't keep this up. A 1.05 whip, 1.46 ERA. That ERA is going to have to get higher, man. Even though, yes, he is pitching well, but I think he's going to show regression at some point. He has not done well against the Giants in 30 at-bats, a 333 average and 1,055 OPS. So I have some concerns there. And Justin Verlander on the other side, I mean, I don't know. I was going to say we know what he is, but I don't know if we do know what he is because he's made some okay starts recently. Still kind of, he might be kind of returning to some sort of form here, even though he's an old man, 42 years old. Obviously, his velocity is not there anymore, but he's a very smart pitcher, and he still knows how to get people out. His numbers are starting to get a little bit better, even though 1.3 whip, 4.38 ERA doesn't look good, but he's been better in his last few starts. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs since April 15th, so he is starting to kind of turn it around a little bit, although it was against Anaheim, Texas, Rockies, so 3 pretty weak lineups. The Cubs are not a weak lineup. They're probably the best offense in baseball, but against this specific offense, 43 at-bats, he's held to a 186 average and 472 OPS. Of course, that goes back multiple years, but it's not like any of this is from like a decade ago, really. Some of it might be, most of it is not, because you're still looking at like more recency, because some of these guys are fairly young. So it might be a little bit of a sneaky play. It might be some sneaky value on the Giants, as the public probably kind of likes the Cubs in this game. Where are they? Here they are. Cubs are up from -140 to -143, but they do have the cash on them. 95% of the cash coming into them. Seems weird to me, although maybe the public is just seeing Verlander, the name, and he's the name they know. They don't know Ray. But if they're looking at the ERAs, I think they're thinking, well, why would I want to take Verlander? I don't know what's going on. Very tough read here. 51% of the tickets coming in on San Francisco. 95% of the cash on the Cubs. But I would look for San Francisco to bounce back after yesterday, to be honest. I actually think they might have a little bit of value at an underdog price there, where I expect Ray to regress at some point. Verlander might be a little bit of a sneaky play there. Pittsburgh and St. Louis, I mean, this is Paul Skeens against Liberatore. Probably the way to look in this game would be to the under, but you're not getting a great price on it. I don't think. Skeens against the Cardinals, 77 at-bats. They are familiar with him, but 234 average, 578 OPS. I mean, he's Paul Skeens. You pretty much know what you're going to get out of him. He's coming off his worst start of the year against the Cubs, which was still a start where he only got 3 earned runs, but I lost money on it. And if that's your worst start, that's how good Skeens is, when his worst start is giving up 3 earned runs to the best offense in baseball in the Cubs. So that's what you got there. Liberatore for the Cardinals, he's pitching well this year as well with a 30-3 strikeout walk ratio. He's not walking anybody, and he's not been that hittable either. .97 whip, 3.44 ERA. Gets a very weak Pirate hitting team here. Weak hitting Pirate team here, I should say. 59 at-bats, 186 average allowed, 535 OPS. So both pitchers, I think, do have an upper hand in this game. Lean to the under. After yesterday with some of the bullpen usage, I would only probably go first 5 inning under. Problem with that is that you're probably going to have to go under like 3.5 in that one, or under maybe even pay a price for it. So you're kind of hitting right on the edge there as far as that's concerned, but probably first 5 inning under is the lean in that one. Detroit, Colorado, you got 2 pitchers that are complete unknowns with Job and is it Job? I think it's Job and Dollander, however you pronounce it. I rhyme it with Collender, Dollander, because he's a sieve. No, he's not out there fielding, really. Well, pitcher, you do have to field a little bit. As we saw with Garrett Crochet from my Red Sox the other day, that was close, man. He almost got nailed in the head with a line drive, and it actually just grazed his nose. It was like Trump moving his head to get shot in the ear. It was man, we would have had World War III if Crochet didn't move his head a little bit. That was insane, man. You're inches away from just getting like being on the verge of death, basically, and instead you just take it to the nose. Crazy. Anyway, Job and Dollander, neither has been seen before by the opposing hitter, so this might be one of those rare situations where I would actually look towards the under in Coors Field, but it's Coors Field, man. It's two pitchers that you still don't know what you're going to get, so I'm not going to play it. Toronto has not decided on a starter yet. Anaheim has Tyler Anderson going. Anderson has really, really bad numbers against Toronto. So for that side of it, I mean, if you just want to play that side of it, you want to go Toronto over their team total, I wouldn't say no to that. 11-10 strikeout walk ratio is terrible. 79 at bats, 354 average, 1,079 OPS. I don't think Anderson can continue to pitch as well as he has this season, so I worry about that a lot. So probably would look to play and maybe even grab Toronto, depending on who the starting pitcher is, or play Toronto over the team total. But as it stands right now, I think this is unplayable. I mean, you got to know who the starting pitcher is. Mets at Arizona. Arizona won, I believe. Did they win the game yesterday or did they lose? No, the Mets won. What am I saying? The Mets, both teams coming off the double headers the previous day, still won yesterday, which is ridiculous. That angle has not worked so far this year, man. These teams coming off of double headers have continued to win. David Peterson, I think he's continuing to be a nemesis of professional bettors, man, because as we all keep saying, his whip is bad. 1.36 whip. There's no way he can continue to have a 3.06 ERA, and he keeps doing it, even though he's putting guys on base, and a lot of it is by way of the hit. He's been too hittable. Maybe it's going to come to fruition here at Chase Field, which is a good hitting ballpark. And Arizona does well against him. 65 at bats, 8-7 strikeout walk ratio is not good for him. 308 average, 898 OPS. So Peterson has not done well in his career against Arizona. Zach Gallen, on the other hand, he's better than his numbers are so far. 1.3 whip, 4.93 ERA. But looking at his career, he's been much better than that. He's coming off a good start, but it was against these exact Mets. So we have another situation, by the way, where both starting pitchers were just seen by the opposing hitters, and it was a high-scoring 8-3 game, but Peterson only gave up one run in that game. Well, the Peterson game was 8-3, but he only gave up he only gave up one run, but the Mets did the damage in that one, but Gallen was not on the hill for that one. Gallen's game did go under. Gallen against the Mets has been good in his career. 107 at-bats, 215 average, 662 OPS. My problem is his home road splits are awful for being at home. He's at home this time, and he has a 6.41 ERA this year in this stadium and 3.38 ERA away from home. So I do expect Gallen to start bouncing back because he is definitely a better pitcher than this, but I don't know if it's going to happen here in this environment. I mean, he's got to get used to it, of course. I mean, he's been pitching in this stadium for a long time, so maybe it still will. Maybe he'll do better against the Mets, although the Mets offense is pretty good. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind looking towards an over in this game, even though it seems very, very public. Peterson could actually get hit around in this game, and Gallen might do poorly because he's done poorly at home, but I don't really want to fade Gallen because he does well against the Mets. So still the best lean in this game might be to play Arizona to bounce back after yesterday. They're down from -110 to -108. 84% of tickets. I don't think they're really going to be that public because the public, they like what they've seen out of the Mets. I mean, why wouldn't you? The Mets keep winning, even though they did just lose to St. Louis. And they have the pitcher with the better ERA. They have one of the best records in baseball. So I expect the public to be on the Mets more than they probably should be. Maybe you're getting some value with Arizona. 84% of tickets, 89% of the cash as it stands right now. Probably the lean. And then Seattle and the A's. Emerson Hancock has been awful so far this season, so I don't know what to take away from that. Springs has actually been okay and has been good against the Mariners in his career. Actually, he hasn't been okay. He's been okay against the Mariners, I should say, but his numbers this year suck. 4.98 ERA, 1.43 whip, but against the Mariners in 33 at-bats, he's held them to a 152 average, 352 OPS. This is a good matchup for Springs. Hancock has not been able to get it together yet. 6.62 ERA, 1.75 whip, all bad. He's starting to at least improve, as his first start is really skewing his numbers, giving up 6 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. Since then, he's given up no more than 2 earned runs in any start, so he is starting to turn it around. And one was at Great American Ballpark, and one was at Fenway, and he pitched well in those two hitter-friendly ballparks. So maybe Hancock is actually starting to turn around. A's have hit him a little bit in 18 at-bats, 278 average, 1,076 OPS. This is also a very hitter-friendly ballpark here in Oakland. They're playing in Sacramento, the homeless A's, but the money is all coming in the A's, up from -110 to -123, 96% of the cash on them, 53% of the tickets on Seattle. But Hancock, because he's starting to pitch better, I don't really know that I really want to fade him here, although Springs has done really well against Seattle. So, and the A's did win yesterday, but it does mean Seattle could be a little bit of a bounce back, as Seattle has been winning a lot of series recently. That's going to do it for me. Saab, what's up, man? Good to see you again. Don't even talk to me about that. Probably they should not have covered that. I was at the game. I'm very, very pissed about it. Top Lobster, Paul, what's up, man? What did he do to you? I don't know what we're talking about here. Is that because is Top Lobster Haitian now? I don't know. He's Puerto Rican. Do they eat dog? I have no idea. That's going to do it for me. Tower Gang Toad on Twitter. Patreon.com/Tower Gang to support the best podcast that has ever existed. Get Bohemian Grove tickets while they're still available. Come join us live in Central Florida in late June. Go to Top Lobster. Go find Top Lobster on Twitter or whatever, and find Raven, David Lee Corbo. Find those guys on Twitter, and you'll find the links to everything. So go do that. Support us. Go check that out. And I think that's it. Oh, yeah, my plays one more time. Very limited today. Cavs -9. I think that's a sure thing. Not that nothing is sure, but I think that one is the closest that you'll get. Under in the Orioles and Twins, and under first 5 inning Astros Brewers. That's going to do it. Early today. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out for now. I'm going to try to not kill myself, but maybe I will. Peace.